hopefully lots of them are going to be going for those Fireflies, as we're seeing already a couple of these players getting the Fireflies. CDY already with ult on Akos, pops it as well, no weapon in hand, but is going to try and see if they can make something happen with the ult. Pretty interesting to see go off as well, and it looks like he was able to ult and then get his ultimate back with Fireflies as well. So even after he burns this ultimate, he is going to have a chance to ult a second time here. Pretty interesting from Wolves CDY right off the bat. Is going to miss both of his grapples, and yeah, cancels the ult, already has another one in his back pocket. Pretty cool from Wolves CDY to bring that out, as we're seeing game number 3 going off. WBG Spider here doesn't have full charge on the ult yet, doesn't want to engage onto CDY too quickly, but we are seeing CDY applying pressure fast here. Spider is trying to back out, just scale up the loot a little bit more before engaging onto this fight. We are going to see the grapple onto the scale rush, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The charge attack from the fan is going to end up dealing a lot of damage. Spider coming in with a huge scale rush into the 1-2, giving him a huge advantage into this fight, but bringing it back around the F2 coming up from CDY, and they're both going to go for a quick reset here and then jump right back into this fight. 93 on the ult for Spider, so he could bring this back around as soon as he gets his ultimate online. We are going to see the parry trying to go out, the 1-2 coming up from the dual blades into the F2, into a scale rush, into the uppercut, ultimate coming out now. Oh, it doesn't come out actually, sorry, from CDY, but we're going to see the overholds coming out into those dagger slashes. Spider is going to ult now. We're going to see both of them popping onto that ult here, waiting for that slash to come out, just weaving, ducking, and dodging. Spider now able to get the hit confirm off into the 1-2, and there we go. 30-point threshold cross, ladies and gentlemen. Spider in the hot seat.
This is why I don't like Akos into this lobby at all, man. Spider plays that exactly the way I would. You wait for the Tiger Leap to come out. You don't use the teleport until you see it, so that they can't use that to avoid the teleport onto. As soon as you see it come out, you just lock it in, you follow it up, you get huge damage. Profit, WBG Spider doing exactly what I think you should be doing on the Sheol pick into an Akos fight here. About as action into it already with the EWG's Arano finding some huge damage. Bow shot coming in from the side on the third party as well. Arano, that purple armor, going to be whisked away from them very, very quickly. JDG's verse continuing to keep the pressure up on Arano here. We are going to see that Longsword slash just catch the little toesies of EWG's Arano here, and Arano just trying to keep it moving here, wants to break angles as much as humanly possible, but if we see another player come back in for the third party, it could be quite difficult. There it is, DRG's Fang looking to come in and keep the grief up here on Arano. Arano top side here going to go back to the bottom where they have an opportunity to use the scale rushes and play ring around the rosy. JDG's verse going to back away here as they take some hits from Action, but now more and more players showing up. Arano able to get at least one pot off here, going to keep the game alive. Fong not quite sure where they have gone. Arano doing an excellent job of trying to break some ankles here, and as more players show up, it might actually be beneficial for Arano. Arano able to get a pot off, but the double bow shots going to counteract most of the healings done. They're going to find another one on the backside, and Arano just trying to get away from this. They don't want anything to do with this anymore. Badass Action, though, wants to keep the pressure up here. Another wisp in the back pocket. We're going to see the musket shots coming through onto Arano. Yet again, more and more shots coming out. I see bow shots coming from the side as well. I do believe it's DRG's Fang following up from behind. Action looking to keep the pressure up. We see a little trade there from DRG's Fong and Action, but now Versus in it as well. Arano, by the way, with the purple armor, still has F and ultimate here, but the target acquisition has not shifted yet. They need to find a way to get one of these other players low so they can turn the attention off of them, but instead they keep running, and this is something we've talked about before. This can be a huge detriment. When you are in a situation like this, if you cannot turn the attention onto another player, the rest of the lobby is just going to keep targeting you down. They're going to feel like you're running low on resources, whether you are or not, and keep that pressure going. WBG Spider going to come down, activate that no ult zone, looking to create some pressure here on to the Temi. Spider more than happy just to look for the scale rushes. Temi already having used the F. That Wisp going to buy him a little bit of protection from range weapons, but Spider with the cannon going to be able to keep the pressure up. Wang Liang just chilling topside here. Spider going to come down, able to avoid the Wisp. Going to look for the scale rush as we see Wang Liang look to break outside. of the no ult zone, but he's going to come around this corner while he's got a chance to go ahead and pop a pot there, get the heals back off, and it is just a free-for-all here as we see so many players show up. DRG's Fang taking some hits here as well. Needs to be very careful about how they approach going back into the zone. They are going to get out of the no ult zone, look to get some shield pots off here. Bada's action just on the other side of the wall as they're going to head back into that no ult zone. WBG Spider gonna break away, wants to stay ahead of the pack here and just look to proc some damage onto players as they push towards the zone.
Yeah, as these players are all starting to transition, they clumped into that no ult zone super fast. Everyone got in such close proximity to each other, but we didn't see too much of a crazy fight start to pop off as the zone started going in and closing out the space that they were all trying to fight for. Everybody decided to just start dipping out, and we were seeing some players take a lot of damage as they were trying to rotate through into the zone, but nobody took so much that they got targeted on and ended up going out, as we're going to see all these players still remaining alive. As XCG's Wang Liang trying to make something happen onto WBG Spider, does not have a kill on the board so far, but neither do most of the lobby. It is a very passive start compared to the other games that we've had. We've seen a little bit of aggression going off from some of these players in Sunwing. We saw Spider picking up a kill early onto CDY, but there's only been a total of 5 kills so far happening in the lobby, and all 12 players are still remaining as we're going to this first Yang. So we could see most of these players all trying to go for a Yang. They've all had almost equal amount of chance to scale their weapons and get their rage up in time for this round. It could be a very chaotic fight for these portals as we are closing in as the first round of Yang is about to start.
Yeah, let's take a look here. It looks like T225 and Arano looking to duke it out for one. TESS Railgun, OUG's Mike as well. Mike's going to make it inside, and they're going to be going head-to-head with Alliance's Frostivus, Wolves versus JL, EWG versus KLA. Mike here with the purple longsword, but purple hangsword in the back pocket as well as a fan. The classic pistol. This has been Mike's favorite ranged weapon for a while now, is the pistol. Mike goes for the slash, but Frostive is going to use the smart tactic there off of the ult to be able to avoid going through as well as catching on to Mike while they have a good opportunity. Frostive is able to avoid the ult coming out from Mike as well. Frostive is just playing with Mike a little bit there. Again, tap dodges the real coming in from Mike. Frostivus, though, going to get parried out by OG's Mike. Going to be huge. Going to be forced to invest the F here, but Mike just needs to find the follow-up here, and there's nothing he can do. Frostivus will miss the real. No UG's Mike will come out on top and take his first elimination in the game here against Elias's Frostivus inside the realm of gangs. We cut over the JDG's verse being chased down by WBG Spider, and Bauda's action verse will find the armor swap there, and we'll also find the RMB startup through the wall onto WBG Spider. And look at this, the cannon shots coming in from Verse, keeping pressure up onto Spider. Spider, though, able to get a pot off here, and Action thinking about changing targets here. He's not sure if he wants to pressure onto Spider, given the cannon shots coming through. Spider able to get the full reset come outside, and Action now looking to turn targets onto somebody else, but OUG's Mike shows up, so Spider wants to put the pressure onto Action so that he is not the main targeted out here by our boy Mike. Mike, though, coming in with the ultimate, will connect on to both. Spider will be able to cleanse the ultimate because he had created enough pressure onto Action for Mike to want to move the target acquisition onto them. This is exactly what I was talking about. Spider doing a really good job of being able to put the pressure on another player. And this is what I was talking about earlier, is when you were running away, it is better to turn around and create pressure onto another player so that you can turn the attention of the lobby onto them. It gives WBG Spider the opening they need to cleanse the ultimate and just get out of that fight altogether.
And as we were discussing earlier, if we were taking a look at the scoreboard, OUG's Mike is still in third place with 16.6 points on the board. Those original 8 points that he got coming into this day have been his saving grace into this, because if he didn't have those points, he would be down in 10th place or 9th place, just below Railgun, with all of the points that he made today.
He moved up into third with the 2 eliminations he's got. I think Arano was ahead of him by 1 point.
Okay. That would make a lot more sense here as we're flipping in. We're seeing a huge Temi ultimate come out, but Wolf CDY is going to be able to pick up the kill onto Wang Liang. Somebody grabbed the bloom. We don't know who it is yet. It could have been one of the players that really needed it to cleanse the Yang depletion, but T225, a player who has 3 minutes left on his, did not get the Yang depletion, and now CDY being targeted, being the only ACOS in the lobby. It's going to be very difficult for him to come away with this, as JL's AS is going to be able to pick up the kill. Wasn't able to grab the bloom. T225 tried to get sneaky in there, but was unfortunately unable to come away with anything there, as AS still has that option to send out that slash from his ultimate onto WBG. Spider is gonna not take it here as we're flipping over. Frostavis facing off against OUG's Mike here. A rematch of the Realm of Yang battle. Mike able to send a couple musket shots off, dealing a lot of damage. Gonna miss the ultimate. Both of them missing here, so no harm, no foul. Mike getting the prio into the uppercut combo, into the grapple, into the charge 1.0, but Mike is going to get caught off by the ultimate. Frostavis now in a lot of trouble. Railgun going to come through with the, oh my goodness, with the third party from the pistol, taking out both Frostavis and Mike. Frostavis is going to get completely eliminated from this game, while Mike with the Vermilion's Bird Mike is going to be able to come back into this here, as KLA's T225 looks to have cured his Yang depletion finally.
Yeah, Kayla is at T225 here, keeping the pressure up onto WBG Spider here. Spider just trying to continue to break away. And again, Spider doesn't have to have a big pop-off game here. He's already done the work. He just needed to find a single elimination. I think if I'm WBG Spider, I'm just playing for late game at this point, right? You knew you needed your 1 point. You've got it. Now you don't really have to kind of hard pressure these fights. You can take a more chill game. And even if you don't put a big score up on the board, you know you're the only person potentially going into game number 4 with that 30-point threshold. And you can look to pop off there. You can kind of save a little bit of your energy for that game and not worry about your mental being too affected here in game number 3, knowing that you are still light years ahead of everybody else. DRG's Fang here taking some pistol shots from TE's Railgun, but to get most of a reset off and look to keep the pressure away. And you know, something about, I want to talk about DRG's Fang this season, but we'll go back to that in a second as we cut back to a replay of the Realm of Yang. Wolf CDY going head-to-head here with JL's AS. We're going to see them come in with the Tiger Roar there into the uppercut re-grapple there. Absolutely huge from them. Here we go. We're going to see the teleport comes through. He's able to duck it and able to follow up here. Wolves yet again going to pop that ultimate now. Keep the pressure up. He's just got to wait for that teleport to come in before he uses these Vs to be in a really good situation. There we go. The teleport comes in. He turns the V around. And this is the thing. You have to be patient if you're playing the Shale here into this matchup currently on this patch. Like, you have to wait for the V to come out before you can try to get the teleport. If not, you get punished. Akos here, the Wolf CDY, doing a really good job of playing the patient waiting game, waiting to pop the ultimate for as long as humanly possible, waiting for the teleport to come out. To turn around with the V and capitalize on it as we head to yet another Realm of Yang. It's going to be OUG's Mike and WBG Spider fighting over the portal entrance, but they're not going to make it in time. So now the 1v1 is going to break out here between Spider and OUG's Mike as DRG and TE head into one of these Realms of Yang. Mike with a massive parry onto Spider with the follow-up. The ult, we're going to see a huge play there from Spider. He's going to be able... Ooh, no, he does get the cleanse here, but Mike on his tail. Spider not in the best of position into this Tessa matchup here. Mike looking to keep the pressure up. Spider trying to break a couple of ankles here. Not sure he's going to be able to do it given the terrain. He's going to go inside. Looks to get at least a pot off. He will find a massive pot off there for himself. Mike turning back around, investing the F here. Will have that second charge of the ultimate very soon. Spider just keeping the pressure going. Mike not willing to invest it just yet. Wants to break away and take a reset. Go back in with that ultimate. Will turn back around, but Spider with the full reset comes in with the scale rush, finds some damage, but Mike will fire the charge R&B off these legendary dual hollies into the grapple bump. Recharge R&B coming off. Mike into a really good position. Spider able to avoid the Tessa ultimate, but now needs to find a reset. Mike comes over the top through the door. Will find the elimination on to Spider as Mike goes to 3 eliminations here. Having a very good game for himself here in game number 3, but crucially, Spider over the 30-point threshold as we head into game number 4.
Yeah, Mike picking up the pace from those last 2 games. He's definitely stepped it up here, taking Spider out. Spider's not too worried, though. He did hit that 30-point threshold, so he didn't need to get any more points on the board to go into match point for that next game. And yeah, that Soul Bloom that he got in the shack there was so crucial to keep that fight going. He was able to stay in for just a little bit, but OUG's Mike kept the pressure on, persistent in getting that kill, and was able to come away victorious into that fight. Kaylee's T225 still a little bit ahead of him, though, because he had just a little bit of better games going into 1 and 2, but Mike is definitely on the comeback. Could see him do something pretty crazy if he's able to keep Spider from getting MVP in game number 4. We could see him make a huge comeback into game numbers 5 or maybe even 6 if we see that getting played. Railgun now coming up against JL's AS. We are going to see that huge Tessa Sun come up, but he's able to iframe it with the ultimate, bringing it back around into a grapple extension combo into the F2. We're seeing the F1 getting invested by Railgun. We could see a dash come out pretty quickly here. He's able to get it, but the tap dodge comes right away, bringing it back around. Railgun, perfect timing of those dodges, bringing himself into an uppercut combo of his own. AS getting dangerously low here, and the overhold releasing it just a second earlier than AS. No clank coming off, and Railgun coming away with the elimination as we're flipping around. OUG's Mike in the thick of it here is going to get frozen, and DRG's Fang almost coming away with the kill there. Is going to end up dashing forward to pick up the kill onto OUG's Mike. Has one dash left. He's got to use it wisely because there's 2 players in this area that he's got to fight. Does cancel the ult to keep 44% rage, which is going to be able to put him halfway almost to getting his ultimate back again. Smart move there to be able to store that for later, to be able to try and get it back as quick as he can into this next fight coming through. As EWG's Arano trying to come in with a pull sword scale rush. We are going to see him trying to fight against EWG. The F2 is going to come out onto CDY. EWG Serrano able to hit a huge F2 there into the grapple attack from the pull sword here. Huge parry coming out too into the pull sword sap. Oh my goodness, the heavy sword sap dealing so much damage. CDY forced to pop the ulti here, and this is going to be almost it for him. If he's able to get away from this, it's going to be nothing short of a miracle. Arano giving chase so hard, sends out the 1, and that's all he needs is going to cancel the ultimate here. Is keeping up the ultimate as there's a couple players in these surrounding zones and is going to end up just backing off. He got the kill, doesn't need to invest too much else into this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. We're down to 5 players left running live with 10 minutes on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a crazy game. Of course, WBG Spider already eliminated from the lobby here, but crucially, again, at that 30-point threshold. Mike finally coming awake here, it feels like, in game number 3. You know, he came into the day what felt like a little bit of a cushion and then just had 2 kind of mediocre games, which we're not used to seeing from OUG's Mike. So he's got a lot of work to put in. There's no way for him to hit the 30-point threshold off of this. So the next game is probably going to be the most dangerous phase of the game for OUG's Mike. If WBG Spider is able to find another MVP, that could be it. We could play 4 games, and that could be the end of it today. So Mike really got to put some work into that next game to make sure he pops off. Unfortunately, he is eliminated from this lobby already, so he needs a 12-point game coming into the next one to make it happen. It is OUG's Mike. I see no problem with him doing that as we move over. Kaylee's T225 here, just taking a lot of these range shots, trying to keep it moving, and the zone does pressure in. A lot of these players wanting to stay here and play around these buttery rocks, if you will. Smart choices too. There's a couple of shales left in the lobby here, and these rocks can really cause some issues, as well as Tessa, right? Like if you get Tessa ulted and you're able to make it so you walk off the side of these buttery rocks, it's very, very hard to capitalize on that charm. We've seen a lot of players do that, so no surprise to see them sitting here playing around this cliff face to buy themselves the best possible advantage into these matchups. So we cut back to the realm of Yang. We didn't get to see between EWG's Arano and Kaylee's T225 with the uppercut there off the hang sword into the grapple bump, and the follow-up RMB doing a ton of damage there to Arano. We will see the block come in. T225 with the teleport, not able to find it now. The teleport available for Arano, but T225 in ult as well, just going to find the same position there. Arano going to come in. T225 just keeping it moving there so that they can't capitalize on it. T225 looking for the scale rush, doesn't want to give Arano time to do much. There we go. The block comes in. They're able to simply press the shift key backwards, step forward, take control of the neutral, and clean up that elimination. What a very, very clean fight coming out from Kaylee's T225 inside the realm of Yang. They're going to pick up themselves up legendary hang sword as well here holding on to that pole sword, looking to capitalize on that huge damage and then the potential weapon swap into the hang. He also holding on into the back pocket. Arano here with a legendary hang sword and legendary dual halberds.
Yeah, having that stacked of a loadout right now, lots of these players are scaled very high, but to have the potential to have 2 legendary weapons in your back pocket, always something that you're going to love to see, especially being the player that's got them down. Railgun as well, with the gold pole sword in the back pocket, the scale rush potential with the gold pole sword, even a purple pole sword, just deals so much damage. It's very difficult for these players to avoid it as well, and it adds so much to the game, where we saw these players before, they were just scale rushing with a normal weapon to try and use it for movement, but then players now started keeping a pole sword in their back pockets just so that they could only for the scale rush potential and the damage, and now people are playing the pole sword more. I love to see how this new tech is changing all these weapons and how these players are using these different weapons for specific scenarios, and the pole sword has definitely become a force to be reckoned with in this game. JDG's verse with the nunchucks, something that we don't usually see anymore coming out in the game. We've been sticking pretty much to a certain set of weapons, but we're going to flip around to this replay here of the Realm of Yang DRG's Feng versus TE's Railgun. We're going to see the beautiful dodge coming from the Feng to dodge the Tesla ult there, but gets caught by the grapple combo, and Railgun with the extension into the guaranteed 1.0 attack from the dual halberds, taking the kills. We're going to see Feng matching up against Railgun pretty quickly here. We're going to see him pull out the purple pistol, try and see if he can get some shots off. Does have those golden dual blades in hand, so those are going to be pretty dangerous, as he's going to be charging up the attack there. A little bit of an interesting animation going off there. We're going to see him just holding this space. A little bit of a troll action going on here. So we're seeing him just hold around, doesn't want to be moving too far, giving himself a chance to hold space without having to move too close into Railgun there, and keeping a hold on the outside as this Bane's Breath has started to drop.
I want to cut back while we have this little bit of a break here with the Bane's Breath. You were talking about the nunchucks. So nunchucks actually have been slowly finding their way back into the meta. Trigger being very, very strong into things like the fan and the Hong Sword, but also in the new patch, nunchucks are going to be a very favored weapon. They get a little bit of buff, and then also given the glyph changes in the new patch that we're going to see starting next week in our 4th bi-weekly, nunchucks, from what I hear, have been very, very favored by a lot of pro players. So hopefully we will see them make a full return to the meta. It's one of my favorite weapons. So we see Frostivus actually earlier this week using a lot of those nunnies to his advantage, trying to go for some of those combos because he has been practicing it on that new patch. You know, a little bit of frustration there for a couple of these players is because we do typically see the new patch post 2 weeks coming over to NBPL, but unfortunately they had to make the decision to not let it come into this bi-weekly. So players practicing on the new patch, but then having to come back and play on the old patch right now, not super optimal for them, but they are making the most of it as their skills are not rusty one way or the other. And again, we are going to hit that little bit of a lull phase because there's 5 players left alive as we head into Zone 6 here. So these guys really just going to be looking to keep space until they're forced to absolutely take a fight here, Seb.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed with the weapon selection from these players is they're favoring nunchucks. Before were definitely favored for movement. We saw in Worlds from the likes of APF had very good movement with the nunchucks. We saw always had the nunchucks in hand in the back pocket for that extra movement in the tech chase. But people have started to opting to use fan as the fan got released into the game, and then as soon as Hong Sword came out, the nunchucks sort of fell back into this obsolete position where you could just run a dagger or a fan for movement, or you would run for the damage that you would be getting, you would start running halberds, or you would run the fan as well. Hang Sword, there were so many better options, and hopefully we get to see a comeback of the nunchucks, because like you said, it is a very cool weapon, and it does have a lot of potential. It's just become, these other weapons that have come into the game have just started to become more favored over top of it. As we're getting a little bit back into the action, a couple of these players just trying to get a little bit active, sending some warning shots, making them use a little bit of their resources. JDG's verse getting targeted out in the open here, forced to swap to the gray armor already early, burning a little bit of that meter to try and create a little bit of space between him and DRG's Fung, but they're going to start trying to put even more pressure into that shack, and he's now forced to use his pots on that gray armor, not getting as much value as he would if he kept the purple armor up, but it is giving him a little bit more security. He's able to get the meter dump off onto Fang, but Fang has that F in the back pocket ready to just give himself an answer to that. KLA C225 seeing if he can make something happen with the F2, ends up turning it back around, sending him straight to safety as Verse trying to get one last pot off, but Arano just saying no. Absolutely blitzing the shield away from JDG's Verse, trying to send that meter dump off just to create even more space. He is not in a very good position right now. Switches over to that purple, is able to get it back, but every single time he gets a pot, somebody has an answer for him and takes all of the shield he just recovered away. He's burned through almost all of his resources now. It's going to be very difficult for him to keep up pace in the rest of this game. As the circle is closing, circle 6 closing almost completely onto circle number 7. We've got 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Who's gonna be the MVP of game number 3?
I mean, Railgun's in such a good position here. Somebody would have to pick up every other elimination in the lobby, including Railgun, I think, to keep him from walking away the MVP here with the 5 eliminations under his belt right now. So time will tell if somebody is able to do that. Unfortunately, like you said, Verse in a terrible, terrible situation here. Very low on resources. They don't even have a repair kit, to my knowledge. So if one of their weapons breaks here, they just are kind of forced to swap to something else, probably suboptimal for them, just to keep getting damage out here. And they are down to, I just believe, powders in terms of shield pots here, which is why that armor is not healed all the way up. There is a repair kit sitting inside there, though, so hopefully they were able to pick up at least one. They've gone up topside here, but again, no pots available for them here. I don't see anybody using the cannon. So Verse here just going to hold on to the side of the wall here. Doesn't have to worry about the explosive damage coming through that side of the wall just yet to kind of grief him out of the situation that he's in. Yeah, he doesn't even have powders left right now. There is a repair kit nearby, but I don't think he's worried about it given where we are in the stage of the game. Zone 7 is collapsing down. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the final fight of the game. Railgun in a really good position on the backside of this hut where he can just position forward up on top there as the zone closes and you can just keep everybody else away from her. To see a whiffs come in onto KLA's T225. The ult come through will connect onto T225 as well. So even though they have the ultimate, there it is, they are going to get stunned out. Railgun going to take advantage of that with that legendary pole sword to punch in a ton of damage onto T225. T225 trying to make something happen, just standing in the middle of the circle with the ultimate going, using those Fs as much as possible. Will avoid getting hit here. Is going to pick up EWG's. Arana will pick up Verse. T225 finding a good game for himself here will go down.